How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Martin Odegaard because it looks like he's going to be out until at least after the international break in November. So kind of our worst fears have been confirmed when you look at some of the news that was breaking yesterday in regards to this injury. And I suppose the one silver lining is that it's not an ACL and he's not out for the season or anything like that. But when you're looking at an MCL injury, I know you can end up with around about 3 to 4 months worst case scenario, but 2 months is still a bitter pill to swallow, as they say. And if that's how long he's actually going to be missing, then I'm pretty confident that the injury would be a grade 2 tear. So listen, it's not ideal. It's not what we want at all, because there were glimpses of Martin Odegaard looking like he was bang on it. And you think of the performance when he came off the bench against Newcastle, and you think about the performance in the Champions League against Olympiacos, and it was so promising. And then we finally got that moment where we got to see Eza and Odegaard with Rice sitting behind and see how that worked. And again, Odegaard gets injured, and he's been so unfortunate this season because it's his third injury already. He's missed 2 separate, sections of games because of a shoulder injury, which were just freak accidents. And then when you look at how he picked up this injury, again, it's just another freak accident. And you're just thinking, oh, how's your luck? So yeah, look, I was ironically speaking about the international break, in yesterday's video, and saying about how awful it is and everything else. But if you go and get injured right before an international break and when another is on the horizon, it can end up being beneficial to you as a player, because when you're looking at the games that Martin Odegaard could potentially miss, and the next international break is in around about 4 weeks' time. Then you add on the 2 weeks for the international break and the 2 weeks we've just had for an international break, and there's your 8 weeks. So Martin Odegaard could potentially miss 4 weeks of football with Arsenal and 4 weeks where we don't even play. So in the grand scheme of things, it's actually quite fortunate. When you look at the Noni Madueke injury, for example, it happens directly after an international break. So he misses a good 3 weeks or so of football with Arsenal. Then there's a 2-week international break. And then he's now got another 4 weeks to return before another international break. And he's only missed 1 section. Do you get where I'm going? So listen, it's not ideal to ever get injured, but if you're going to get injured, I suppose this one is more favourable to the player and to the club, because there's 4 weeks there where we're not even playing. So, but it's just a big blow. But in previous seasons, and I will stress this very clearly, in previous seasons, Martin Odegaard gets injured, all Arsenal fans would be sitting there with their head in their hands right now. They would be thinking, oh no. But now we're not so worried, because you've got the likes of Eza and you've got the likes of Ethan Nwaneri. And Ethan Nwaneri, if you watch him play, how much he's developed in the last year, physically, mentally, he's going to get his opportunity. He will get chances. And I can see him and Eza playing together in the same way that Eza and Odegaard could have been playing together. So although it's a blow, it could have been a lot worse. And again, it stresses the importance of having such a big squad. It stresses the importance of having so many players in so many areas that can do a job. So when we lose someone like Martin Odegaard, although it's a blow, it's kind of softened by what you've got there to replace. And a similar situation happened with Bukayo Saka. When he got injured, Noni Madueke stepped straight in, and we didn't even miss Bukayo Saka, to the point where we didn't even rush Bukayo Saka back from his injury, where in previous seasons, we would have looked at him at 70, 80% fit and gone, need him, have to get him involved, play him, and you run the risk. And then Noni Madueke gets injured. Bukayo Saka's had enough time to, come back from his injury, and he's ready to go. And having those kind of, players available and the rotation and what we're able to do, William Saliba, coming off within 4 minutes at Anfield. In years gone by, we were watching Rob Holding come on, and we were sitting there thinking, oh no, that's it, it's done. Christian Mosquera comes in, we don't even miss William Saliba, and he can just be eased back in. No rush, no fuss, take your time. So if that's the one silver lining to this whole episode, it's that we've got all of this adequate cover. Now, what we don't want is an injury to anybody else, because then you will start to think, hold on. Yeah, we've been quite fortunate in that respect that we haven't had injuries to players that are all in the same position at the same time. But I do feel that that's also why Arsenal have gone and invested in players that are quite versatile, and they're able to play 2-3 positions so that it's very manageable. Apart from the likes of Victor Gyökeres, who's an out-and-out striker, everybody else kind of can play in multiple positions. So it gives us that flexibility. But it's still a big blow, a big blow. And, you're looking at the games that he's going to miss. And again, I tried to find a positive, a silver lining to it. And the chunk of games he's missing, they're difficult. You've got the likes of Atletico Madrid in there. Crystal Palace is going to be a difficult game. Fulham away is going to be a difficult game. You've got Burnley away. You've got Sunderland away. You've got Prague away. And I think that's the run of games we've got before the next international break. So you're looking at that and you're thinking, could have been a lot worse. Because after the next international break, our first 3 games are Spurs, Bayern Munich, and Chelsea. So if Martin Odegaard is back for those games and he gives you that added option, it's only going to make us stronger, ain't it? So I'm all right with it in that respect. And like I said, I try to find some positives and a silver lining to it. And at the end of the day, I think when you look at the run of fixtures, and I think when you look at the fact that we're able to replace him, it kind of just softens that blow. It's a blow, but it's just a little bit softer than it, was before. So, listen, yeah, at the end of the day, he needs a bit of luck because, like I said, he's been very unfortunate with injuries already this season. So, yeah, hopefully he can come back from this latest setback and be able to get a run of games going and get his season moving. Because the little bits and pieces we are seeing of him, he's looking very good. And he's looking more like his old self. So there we go. Let me know in the comments section what you think. How big a blow is this for the club? Do you agree the same as me that the blow is just softened a little because of what we have available? And yeah, let me know in the comments section. So you know what to do if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.